in the thick of predictions week, and we're starting with the AFC North. Ravens hungry to return to the top of the division, where they went 12-5 overall last year, eating sandwiches along the way. But get this, bro. Last 4 seasons within the division, the Ravens, Bengals, and the Browns all have the same winning percentage, 450.
That is interesting.
46%, let's say, in divisional games, but the Ravens dominate outside the division. The Steelers actually have the best winning percentage within the division.
Steelers just beat everybody. That's crazy.
They're a great team.
Wow.
We're a pretty good team.
That's a heck of a
divisional
graphic.
team.
Upper mid.
Yes.
Yeah, they're a great divisional
Nick,
team.
you can start us off here with your AFC North.
Oh, okay. Wow. Number 4, we don't need to spend a lot of time on. I would imagine almost everyone, maybe in the sports punditry world, has the same team finishing 4th in this division, the Cleveland Browns.
What?
I think they will start 3 different quarterbacks at a minimum over the course of this season. I think that Myles Garrett, about midway through the year, is going to be longingly just logging into online banking. Be like, worth it.
Just to feel
Maybe,
good.
like, yeah, like
Gets into his Halloween decorations.
And I think that by the end of this season, Andrew Berry at the very least, and maybe Stefanski as well, are going to have some real answering to do as far as where this team is going. That's more Berry than Stefanski, and I know Stefanski's won Coach of the Year twice, but I feel like both of them are on somewhat unsafe ground. Now is where it gets interesting. Because I think there will be people that have all 3 of the remaining teams winning the division. It won't just be I think some people will for sure. I am not a believer in soon-to-be 42-year-old Aaron Rodgers. And because of that, I have the Steelers finishing 3rd.
No playoffs.
And missing the playoffs.
Losing record?
Yes, and a losing
Wow.
record. Definitely.
Talk about a way to end a career. Rodgers.
I know that, we have said Aaron is, just wants to put a final cap on his career, doesn't want to go out the way he did with the Jets, and clearly, obviously, to his credit, still just really loves playing football, and I don't begrudge him that at all. It is also one of the reasons why I am pessimistic on the Steelers, because if this year starts off tough and he starts to come to the realization, I'm not going to get that final, not Super Bowl, but just final nice chapter. How is that going to affect his disposition? How is that going to affect what has been, since he's been a Steeler, model, teammate, citizen, all of that. And I also am not as confident as seemingly everyone else that the defense is going to be quite as good as it was last year. Cam Hayward is awesome. He is also one of the oldest awesome players in the league. TJ Watt is awesome, but he's coming off one of his least productive years of his great soon-to-be Hall of Fame career, and I don't like the trade they made in Minka for Jalen. I think that was a downgrade. I know that they felt they needed to change personalities, but for all those reasons, I think the defense should be good but not great. Don't trust the offense. They're 3rd. In 2nd, but missing the postseason, is the Cincinnati Bengals. I'm yet to hear a compelling case as to why this year will be different than last year, unless you think Lou Anarumo was an inside agent for the opposition. I don't think they have the personnel defensively, and more importantly, I think what was a mediocre offensive line might actually be worse this year than it was last year. You have 2 big question marks on the interior, and you have known quantities at the tackle positions, but I don't love either player, even though Orlando Brown, Chiefs, champion. And I think it's going to be very hard for Burrow to duplicate his statistical success of last season. And their backup running back, their backup running back, Samaje Perine. Their starting running back's Chase Brown. I don't think they're going to be able to lean on the run. I think Chase Brown's fine. To me, it just feels like a fun team that once again goes 9-8. And then winning the division easily by 3 or 4 games is, of course, Brou's Baltimore Ravens. Now, I would hope for Baltimore that they are in a race for the 1 seed so they can stay sharp late in the year, because I would imagine that they could have the division locked up, de facto locked up by early December, and that you want to be playing for something because they're such a Super Bowl or bust team. But to me, the Ravens are the clear-cut cream of the division and the only playoff team in that division, Greg.
Yeah, I mean, I like the lineup. I would have it the same way, but you talk about a compelling case. I don't think there needs to be a compelling case when you talk about the Bengals. They kind of speak for themselves. They're going to be competitive in their division. They always are. They were 3-3 in their division last year. But we oftentimes look at the games that teams win that are one-score games, and we're like, man, they were a great team. And the teams that lose those one-score games, we look at them and we're like, oh yeah, they were trash. Well, the Bengals were a part of this. Most losses by fewer than 7 points. Like, the Bengals are in this mix with all these other teams, and the other teams were absolutely, they had no shot at making the playoffs.
And the Bengals were right there.
And the Bengals were right there while being amongst these teams with this stat. So if you can just imagine the Bengals defense getting a little bit better, even if their offense gets a little bit worse,
I don't hate that.
they have a shot. They absolutely have a shot to make the postseason this year.
What if a team lost 9 of those games? Like, they'd be real prime for a comeback. I just saw it. I mean, it just stuck out.
Jacksonville talk?
It was Jacksonville.
Did we have a meeting upstairs? Don't talk Jacksonville?
I didn't make the graphic.
You see, I didn't talk Jacksonville.
Brou, this is where you dominate.
This pains me because
But
it's my
we've been-
hometown team. One of them.
What? There's 9 of those.
Yeah, Cleveland.
Okay.
Cleveland. I agree with Nick. I mean, if you're not picking them last in the division, I don't know.
Related to Joe Flacco.
Yeah, what in the world is going on? I do think the defense could be okay, but just this season is about finding out if one of those 2 rookies is a keeper.
Yeah.
That's really what it's, because Flacco might have at best 4 or 5 game stretch of good games in him. And even if he plays well, they still probably are going to lose most of their first game. So he's going to get benched and then see what these young guys.
Now the big reveal. You've been 50-50.
This
You've been one
is
way or the other.
As recently as yesterday,
Yeah.
I was 50-50.
How late were you at the office?
I was here until about 2 a.m.
Wow.
Yeah. Joking.
That's good. Thanks.
But I was at home grinding the tape.
Yeah.
I went home and hit the all 22. And at the end of the day, I guess this sums it up. Once bitten, twice shy. I was bitten by Aaron Rodgers last year. I bet on him with the Jets.
Oh, missing the playoffs.
And I was burned. So I am not going to bet on him again. It's hard because of Mike Tomlin, right? I mean, he's won 10 games with some brutal quarterback play. And I just think, like we talked about yesterday, Rodgers, the attitude could, if they start off slow, it could kind of get ugly.
Yeah.
And I'm just not, I won't bet on Aaron Rodgers again after getting burned. Although I will say, I do think they could have I think they could win 10 games and miss the playoffs.
Wow.
So I still think a
Tomlin's
good
streak
season might
could stay in
Oh yeah, I'm off of that.
Yeah.
I think they'll have a winning season. And like I said, maybe even win 10, but still miss the
You're
playoffs.
debating it. We're literally in predictions week.
Yeah.
I mean, it feels like we're still kind of deciding.
No, I'm saying I think they could have a decent record, but just not make the playoffs. Yeah.
Okay.
All right, that leaves, of course, the Bengals. The question is, will they make the playoffs?
Will they?
Yes.
Ooh,
got
knew
them
you
in.
loved them.
Got them in.
I knew you loved them.
Well, look, like I said, I think the offense can duplicate what they did last year, if not be better. I agree with Greg. I'm going to, like you said, is there a compelling reason? I mean, it's hard to look at the paper. You do have, if Shamar Stewart becomes a player, now you got him and Trey Hendrickson on the edges. And we've seen, remember Philly's defense a couple years ago was horrible.
Yep.
Vic Fangio turned them right around. The Chargers defense wasn't good 2 years ago. They had some players, but it wasn't productive. And then Harbaugh turned them around. So I'm not saying they're going to be a top 10 defense by any stretch. But I think they can improve, to the. And I'm taking a leap of faith because they looked horrible in the preseason. Just everything looked bad.
But, well, so all right, because I feel like we know where number one's going. So before you get there, I want to ask you a question about the Steelers, because you and Brou are on the same side on the Bengals. Mm-hmm. What if you're a Steeler fan, or what is better this season. If Brou's right and they're 9-8 or maybe even 9-8 with a playoff stamp, and it's the 7 seed again and get clocked in round 1, or if the bottom falls out, if we're all wrong and they're in last place, not Cleveland, and you know what I mean, and you can actually reset it. Like, I think Steelers fans would actually prefer 4-13 than 9-8 and a first-round playoff loss again.
I'm not the one to speak for the Steelers fans, but you asked me. So, yes, that would be the best thing to happen for them organizationally. And if you're going to be rooting for this team moving forward, you want a quarterback that's going to be your future.
Yeah. All right, sorry.
Brou, your number 1 team in the AFC North.
Did you need to ask? Did you need to ask? This is they're going to run through the AFC North. I agree with Nick on that. And what they're going to do, Wilds,
Here we go.
they're going to go into opponents' digs, into their homes, into their buildings. Make them give them their bathrobe. That's the ultimate sign of disrespect at your house. That's the ultimate make myself at home. Go get me your bathrobe.
Your own bathrobe.
Yes, and I'm putting it on. They're going to kick up their feet, put them on your coffee table, and tell you to put on The Wire so we can watch it again. And they're going to say, bring me some chips, some soda pop, and a sandwich.
Joining us now with sandwiches courtesy of Casa Cuisine, 427 Graham Ave in Williamsburg, Brooklyn, is Kuj himself. Kuj, thank you for joining us.
How you doing?
As always, it's an honor. Congratulations on the restaurant. And these are special sandwiches. So.
I can't wait to dig into this.
Touch.
Yeah.
Yes. The
Twins. Are you seeing?
you. God bless you.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.